Okay, we're back with some 16NL. We're going to play 3 tables and shoot for 1,000 hands, but see how it goes. Maybe make it shorter depending on how we're feeling, if we're playing well, etc. So let's hop in. Same format as normal, just thinking through as many spots as possible. I'm not feeling that well, so if I have to blow my nose or anything, I do apologize, but shouldn't be too bad. So we're still getting used to this stake. I'm happy that the antes aren't on here, so I don't have to like adapt because I just moved up, and then I probably would have gone back down to 10 to learn antes. Not learn them, but like figure out how I want to approach the games. Fold Jack 9 on the big, and check behind with our Queen 7, and fold to a 3. Well, fold to a 3-bet from the small blind to the big blind with 9s. Certainly call this turn and reevaluate the river. Bottom left. Pretty good river. He was going to continue with like most of his kings on the flop. I think we're probably going to have to go ahead and call this river. And I think checking behind is reasonable. We're going to lose to a better queen sometimes, and I think we just have good showdown value. Gonna fold the queen jack and open the king queen. Open up ace queen of diamonds, top left. Against this 3-bet, I'm just figuring out what I want to do here. Okay. We're gonna fold. Isolating with the king 10. King queen, you can do like whatever really, but decided to go for the fold that time. Pretty trash board for our hand here. Just gonna go ahead and give this one up. Obviously not fold to that because we're probably still gonna win with a king and a 10. And obviously check back here. And you just never know. So, I mean, I'm going to just start with a pink, and then I'm just going to call and lose to an 8 or a 4. I mean, just so bad, but that's fine. Guess you got max value there. Prototype I know. Oh, no. Maybe I just know his avatar, but I don't know the player. 6-5 I'm going to call sometimes. Not this time. We rolled quite low. Don't mind calling there, like quite liberally, but we have to listen to our RNG sometimes. Otherwise, we're going to be calling too often, probably. It was a small 3-bet, so I was thinking about calling like top 70%. So we rolled quite low. I'm just folding to this guy's donk. Ace jack spades under the gun, definitely an open. King 5 suited we can sometimes open, maybe half the time. We'll go for it now. Certainly in anti-games you want to be opening this. Fold 10-8 under the gun. Get a call from the big and flop quite well. Can continue here. And we win. But we would have obviously been continuing on any action. Playing for stacks there for sure against his stack size. Folding for one more big there. Folding ace-8, just on the borderline of what we want to open there. Well, we can open it, but folding here. I'm just going to fold it again. Open up our ace-king. We get 3-bet, we'll be going to 4-town. We get called, and this is just a pretty bad board. No need to bet here. We can just give it up. And it seems passive, but like he's just going to be doing really well on that board. And I'm going to have like way better hands that connect, that either want to check call or continue. I've only put 3 blinds in the pot. I'm just not interested. When we can have so many better hands. Flopping very well here, start very small. It's going to be quite hard for our opponents to have hands to continue with in general, let alone when we have quite a lot of the board locked up. Certainly bet the turn on the larger side. Ace Queen in here in position against a small blind raise. Sometimes going to 4-bet, but we'll just go for a call. 3-bet the Ace-7. Definitely fold on this flop with the Ace-Queen. Good sizing from him. We're going to have to continue here, unfortunately, for now. Checking back our Ace-7 for balance and calling with the Ace-Queen. This turn, could either raise or call. I think I'd probably prefer to raise. In fact, no, we're folding bottom left. Going to bet here with our Queen Jack. Take some showdowns on some rivers. I can't decide what to do here. Are we going to get action from worse? Probably not. So I'm just going to call and then call again on the river. I think we're probably overplaying our hand a little bit if we get to obviously keep his bluffs in, which is a very strong consideration, which I didn't mention at the time, obviously. But yeah, when he's bluffing, we get to win more money, and we like money. Opened up. Okay, so queens we're going to 4-bet. And we're a bit deeper, so I'm going to make this slightly bigger. I'm going to float my king queen in position against this guy's donk lead, and I'm going to start with a check with a 5-6, and fold this turn to a ridiculous bet. Queens, we get a call. I think the best course of action here is to start by betting to try and get it on the turn. So we'll go for half pot. Seems really good. And get it on this turn. Can't see any reason why he would have a 4 or connect it with that board in any significant way. We're obviously going to lose to kings, but that's fine. He's going to be in a really tough spot with like 10s and jacks. The 5-6 we're gonna call turn. Think about calling some rivers as well, checking back the 9s. And we managed to win with a 5 here, which is really good. I don't mind check raising the turn. Like, probably actually prefer it in hindsight, but it seems pretty good. I don't think you can make. I think it's gonna be fine. Like, we can. Do you know what? I'd prefer to check raise that turn. I think I was probably a little bit too invested in this other hand. Can we value bet here? Probably. I'm gonna go for it. 3 checks. It's pretty telling. We might get check raised some, but I think we're missing value if we don't. We didn't really get to talk about that guy's play with the jacks, but I'm fairly sure it's going to be absolutely fine. If he's going to be, and he'll know this better than me, but if he's not going to have a trapping range with like kings and aces, which he probably should do blind versus blind maybe, but then again you're going to be looser with your 3-bet, so you're probably going to want to have, you know, your good hands in your 5-bet jam range. So if he's calling my, we'll bring out bottom left, actually, bottom right. If he is going to call my 4-bet, given that I have queens, sorry, let's start again. If he's only calling my 4-bet, and he with hands like this, and he's going to be going, well, like jacks and 10s, I mean, and he's going to be going for the rest with kings and aces pre, then he knows really that he probably, it depends, he might do it with queens as well, and he obviously doesn't know I have queens, but 10s, jacks, queens are going to be like pretty close to the top of his range on this board. He's probably not 3-bet calling with 6s and 5s. So he's going to know that he probably doesn't have that many better hands than jacks here. At the same time, my play looks pretty queens, kings, and aces heavy. And we're going to struggle to find... Obviously, we have to find some bluffs, given that we have a lot of like queens, kings, aces. It's going to be tough to find bluffs, is my point. Let me see what we could probably bluff with here. I mean, probably like ace king of... I would say ace king that has backdoor diamonds or hearts or clubs. Purely because if we do face a hand like this, when we've already decided, obviously, and then if we have ace king, we block aces and kings. If we do have a hand like this, then... Sorry, I'm just playing this top right spot. Thinking about what I want to do. Gonna bet the turn. Check back some rivers. That's good, we got some value. So where was I with this bottom right hand? Yeah, so ace king suited, diamonds, spade, diamonds, hearts, and clubs, which I'm gonna have all of every time. When he's gonna have kings and aces not very often, and have like maybe tens and jacks more often, it means that when we do jam turn as a bluff for pot, we're going to have two overcards quite frequently when he calls off, given that we block it, and he's going to be maybe obviously at some frequency getting kings and aces in pre. So I like it. The 5-6 hand that I was playing at a similar time, I much prefer to check raise the turn if I'm going to continue, which I think I do have to. Opening up the ace-8, flopping 2 pair, which we like. Slightly bigger. We don't want to bet third pot here because there's loads of draws, so I think even slightly bigger than that is nice. Especially when we're deeper. Don't even mind going slightly bigger than that even, just because of how many hands he's going to have one to continue with there. Excuse me. So this is the guy from before that min bet twice. Really tempted to just somehow get into a pot with him here, but I think sticking to our general strategy for the most part is going to be best. Especially with like the weaker parts of our range. So we opened up this and we got a call and a very dry board, which we will continue on for a small sizing, and we will continue for a small sizing top left as well. Get a call and we want to size up on this turn. And I think that checking this particular turn top left is going to be better. So let's do that. Rivering 2 pair and probably the nuts. Going for some value. And getting raised, and we're going to call here obviously with the, that's very sick. Do we get called 2 streets here? Interesting. Okay, here Jack 10 would have had to bet the turn. He could have a set of 9s, but we block that. He's really telling me he has Jack 10 that he didn't bet the turn with, so I'm going to be calling. I can't understand why you would check the turn there, so I guess he's got money off me by that check, but I think more often than not you're just going to want to bet that turn, so I would say that's probably quite poor from him there. Generally speaking, like obviously it worked out that time, but generally speaking that's going to be a situation where you're always going to want to be betting the turn. I have lots of hands I'm going to want to continue with, and calling with Jack 10. I'm going to have lots of hands I'm going to want to continue with, and he needs to protect his hand from exactly the kind of thing that I've got going on. Overbetting this turn, this river, sorry, and value betting this river over here, calling with the 8s. I don't know why I'm trying to overanalyze lots of situations, considering I'm Trying to play 3 tables at a stake that I haven't got a lot of experience on. Going for the river bet here. We do block the jack of clubs, which is nice, which makes me feel better about value betting. Getting raised is going to suck, but I definitely think we're going to miss value if we don't bet. Calling with the 8s for 1 street. Got a player here that doesn't 3-bet over 100 hands, so we are going to fold this turn and check back now. This is even going to be like 10s and stuff quite often, so we're pretty done here. If he bets, if he bets, he's not going to really have 10s that often, but I think when he checks, we're going to have a pretty high frequency losing percentage when we check behind, but also not a very high frequency success rate on our bluff if we try to turn this into a bluff, for example. But we do win this time. I think we have definitely too much showdown value to turn that into a bluff there. This we're going to fold to a donk. And ace queen, just going to fold. We're going to have some like medium pairs that we continue with there. We don't really need to continue there. Ace 3 is going to be a give up for sure. Calling in position with 10s. Folding his 6s to another gun raise. Defending the jack 5 and calling with 10s. Oops. Press the wrong button. Checking back jack 5. Giving up, probably. He bets again on the turn, but also small again. We're going to call once more. Probably find some folds on this river. I think he should probably be bluffing with that. I guess I can have a king quite often there, so he's thinking that river's not very good bluffing card for him. Top left, we're going to check behind. He's going to have lots of this going on. And we just have like, especially on a heart, we have just a really low equity situation. And we are going to give up. Unfortunate. Yeah, we could have probably bet the turn. I'm sorry, but bet the flop. But it's nice to have a straight when you hit a 10 as well, and getting check raises kind of sucks. We don't get to realize our equity. Oops. Getting 3-bet with 10s again and calling and flopping top set, which we enjoy. We probably have the nuts here, right? Because jack 8's never going to happen. We're going for a raise. In terms of sizing, I think 19 is good. We don't want to see that the 8 of hearts, right? So we're just going to be trying to get money in now. Defending king 10. Flopping 2 pair. Checking. He goes for it, and we are getting this in now. I would assume we're going to be up against an overpair. We could raise this turn, but I don't think it's necessary. We're going to go all in here. Oof, that is a rough spot. Damn. Okay, and he checks us on the river, and we have a very easy bet. Defending against that 3-bet with jack 9. Continuing cautiously. Everyone's bet sizing seems to be pretty good on these board textures, actually. I haven't seen this consistency like in bet sizing for a while, especially at 10. So yeah, hats off to these guys. Seems pretty good to me. Calling, getting a great price with the 8s. Somehow not flopping a set. In terms of this guy's range, top right, obviously a lot of strong hands, but certainly some overcard combos that are going to want to continue here. Going for a call. Very bad river. Ace Queen got there, Ace King got there, King Queen got there. I think we're just dead, pretty much. Pretty much expect queens to check and everything else to just give me the business on this river. Check. Yeah, King Queen. So we like our play a lot. But against his, I mean, we could consider bluffing, but we don't really have very good removal, right? So, and we 3-bet here, and we're going to start with a bet. Yeah, I like our play with the Jack-9 there. We could consider bluffing with it, but like I think he's going to be checking that kind of hand too often for us to do that. But I like our flop call, I like our turn call, I like our pre-flop call. I'm pretty happy with it, generally speaking. So, oops, well, we opened up the jacks, we got check 2. We're going to bet slightly more than if there was only one person in the pot. This guy's the only guy in the hand that can really have a 4. But we're going to bet again. He can certainly have an 8. And I also like the guy's play with King Queen as well. Very solid, good sizing. Yeah, don't mind at all checking the river as well. Induce some bluffs. Yeah, pretty big fan of his play. So the other day when we played, we were noticing everyone was quite bad. I'm seeing some significantly better play today, which is maybe something to do with antes. People moving up from 10 to play where they don't have to play with antes. Defending King 9. Calling the turn with 10s. Folding to a 3-bet with 8-6. This is close. Gonna call. King high here. We're gonna have to go for a bit of a bluff ski. What are we representing? Some flushes for sure. Some straights for sure. And a 7. Because we defended the big blind, we can have quite a decent amount going on here, and he'll hopefully know that. Checking back our middle pair here. And calling turn. And probably calling river. And losing. This guy open, and we'll fold. Start the bet with the ace queen. So I'm trying. I started by trying to do lots of like evaluation and extensive hand analysis. I just don't think that's going to be possible, and I don't really want to, considering. I checked this turn because because he's in the big blind, he can have a lot of 2 pairs and maybe a 3 sometimes as well. So we might struggle to get 3 streets with 1 pair there. So, and we also induce some stuff and some things from our opponent, which we largely enjoy. Ace jack off. I think this is probably, I'm just going to check my ranges. This is probably just a call. Oh, it's sometimes a raise. Let's have a look. Yeah. We're going to give him the business on this occasion. Especially a weaker player. We get to play in position. Well, supposedly weaker. These stats don't look great. Pretty good board. Going to continue for a small size here. Calls very quickly. Going to charge the draws again. So he can certainly have some weaker aces Ace king I would expect not. A 3 I would expect not. So we pretty much have the best hand here. In terms of extracting from a weaker ace, I think going for a bit smaller than is going to be better. Queen 10 of diamonds we lose too, but this guy looks like he has a decision with ace 10. Ace queen. Wow. Okay. Well, that's an unfortunate river for him. I think against opponent that we have a green tag for, we're going to just have to go for the extra value, blind versus blind especially. I think that I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue with pretty much all of his suited aces that are going to be in a pretty tough spot. We've raised here and got 2 callers. I think going to be betting on the larger side for protection against 2 opponents and for the nature of our hand. Just going to call this turn. A 7. I think we're going to check back here. We can certainly have some 7s, but this is just going to be like one of the worst hands that I want to bet to value on this flop. So we're going to just check it back. Call some rivers. I definitely don't think we can. He's obviously in being in the big blind. He's gonna have a lot of stuff that's doing well here, like a 7 or 6-5. So I don't think that betting the turn is ever going to be fruitful. But I also don't think that we can ever not call the river, in my humble opinion. Just checking this out versus a button. So deeper, I think this is going to be a call. He did make it quite large, and now 3-way we're going to be seeing some flops. I think with Jack 9 high, we're going to take our opportunity to have a very low sizing that's going to win a lot of times when he checks twice. And with the Jack 10 of clubs here, we have a very easy check fold. Trying to get our ace high to show down on the top right, which we do not succeed in doing. Folding our Jack 10. Opening at the King 6 of hearts. Getting 3-bet. Not the largest 3-bet I've ever seen. Sometimes going to want to call here, and this time we will. Probably a little bit better for me than him, this board, in terms of ranges. Do we want to bet? Probably. We can certainly check back some turns when called if we need to and realize our equity, and we also get to win with king high sometimes as well. So with stuff when he has like ace queen and ace king, he's just going to be in a really tough spot against that. And I think that board is, I think we're probably going to have quite a few more 10s and jacks being in position than he is. Jack 10 suited is going to be a 3-bet. Jack 9 suited is sometimes going to be a 3-bet. And this time we're going to call. Flopping the straight flush draw. I just meant about that 6. I'm in 2 minds here. I think I don't mind checking sometimes, but I think betting is best. He calls quite quickly. the problem is our draw is not to the nuts, so I think we're going to check this turn. Obviously call, but I probably just he has a lot of king queen, I suppose, but I don't think that matters too much. I think this kind of thing is, yeah, I'm not too happy with my play there. I think betting the turn has to probably be better. He obviously can have a lot of king x, but also a lot of queen x that is going to have a really hard time against 3 barrels. Yeah, I'd much rather have just unloaded the clip there. I mean, it's nice to have some flushes when we get to the river after checking the turn, for sure. Otherwise, I think our opponent's going to be able to put quite a lot of pressure on us. Continuing here for a small size. Our opponent's going to just really struggle on that board. We have 2 overs. We have backdoor diamonds. All the good stuff. Ace king. We get raised by a pretty solid opponent. And low jack versus big blind is pretty interesting. I think sometimes we're going to 3-bet, but sometimes we're going to want to 4-bet, sorry, but a lot of the time we just want to call, especially against a solid opponent like this. Going to check this turn. Calling once here with ace king high. Calling this river with a pair. Folding this turn with ace king as well. One of the worst hands we're going to have there after calling flop. So we need to always choose part of our range to fold, and that just seems like a pretty good folding situation for us. And obviously we have to call flop because we have a gut shot to the nuts, 2 overcards, and it's just ace king high can sometimes be good. Probably not often low jack versus big blind, but certainly never going to be doing anything but calling, I don't think, there. Queen 9 we're going to open. Oopsie doopsie. Just trying to work out what I want to do with this hand. Sometimes we're going to 3-bet for sure. Continuing for a small size with this very dry board with a backdoor something or other. That seems good. A couple of backdoors here with very deep stacks. We're going to call once and try and get our queen to showdown now. I think he probably would have continued with quite a lot of kings on the turn, so we're going to win quite often, but we also want him to maybe bluff sometimes when we check. Here we're going to check. This guy's a very strong opponent. We want to make sure we're very balanced in this situation. We definitely want to have some good flushes when we check. Like some good flushes when we check, and the turns are heart. I mean, calling this 3-bet with 5-4. Folding to this. Defending for 1 big against this guy. Going for the call. Turning a boat. Calling again. Good river. Still have the top boat on the board. Only way we lose is if he has an overpair. That seems a pretty fair result. Anaheim Angels, bottom left. Very small 3-bet. Well, we're going to be giving this guy the business. Question is what we want to make this against that size. We are out of position. So something close to 3 seems good. We don't want to give him too good of a price to call in position. Does seem like over a small sample, he does seem quite aggressive. He's tanking pretty hard and goes to the fold, which is unfortunate, but that's part of our whole strategy. We like to see some folds. When we got like ace-5 suited there, we love to see folds, and we're going to be doing that as well. So, especially against a guy 3-betting 11%, even over 60 hands. I'm just going to fold here. Some pretty nasty reverse implied odds. Well, I mean, we just don't have like very good outs. We have dirty outs. When we make our hand, if we want to know that when we make our hand, we're going to be happy about it, and we're certainly not going to be there. Jacks on the button. It's a couple of quick folds. Open up the 5s. And deeper and in position, this is going to have to be a call. Defend the 4s. Open the king 10. Opponent checks. We're going to check behind. And fold. We're going to have some far better hands than that we checked back with the flop, on the flop. Pocket kings under the gun. Going the distance. Seems pretty, I mean, I never usually, I mean, obviously we have kings, right, but let's see. 29 seems good. Maybe slightly big, but it's fine. If he jams, we're going to see aces a lot, but especially in these positions, obviously we're going to be happy to get it in. We checked back this turn, which is very optional, but it allows us to have some very good bluff catches on the river, which I'm a big fan of. 3-betting at this 9-8 against the nit. These chests just don't work at the moment. And while nits are going to have like a tighter range, they're also going to play worse against, or tighter against 3-bets. So I still enjoy not isolating, but I still enjoy 3-bet temp steals, especially with that kind of hand. I mean, the argument could be made the other way, so just go ahead and fold that. It just doesn't seem very necessary, but we can't only 3-bet those people with aces and kings. Let's have a look. Ace 9 will open, but we will not call. And we will not do anything with that. We will open our king 3 suited though. Marginal fold with the king 7, call with the queen 10. Check fold. And give up the king 3 as well, happily. 2 more checks would be interesting. Going to try and win this pot. Would you have some outs as well? That's one of them. And this guy's going to have a king, and we don't want to build the pot for PokerStars, so we're not going to raise. Betting this turn with the 9s. We check back with a medium strength hand and backed into a set. I don't know, we have the nuts, but like, he's not calling without a king, so it just doesn't make any difference whether I raise or not. And I just don't want to give any more money to PokerStars than I already do. Checking again. Pretty horrific river. Now we have to bluff, which sucks. Definitely can't have a worse hand than 5 high here. C-betting this flop with some backdoor opportunities. Can I open my chest, please, PokerStars? It's because I didn't raise the nuts on the river. It's not happening, is it? Checking top right. Calling this bet. Check calling the turn again. Check raising the river. Damn. Where's the one big blind? He just had nothing. So check raise was best against that kind of guy. That's a lot of the time when they bet one big blind, they obviously don't have very much. So I think check raising is fine. And yeah, he's obviously not going to have that many strong hands. There was a guy earlier that had a boat when he did that, but those are few and far between. Open race 8. Going for the defend with ace 9 off, flopping 2 pair. Don't think I want to have a raising range on this flop. We're going to have a lot of trash. So that wants to just check fold, so, and some stuff that wants to hang on. So if we check raise here, like, we're pretty much just representing ace 9 and then not much else. I just don't like having a raising range. Go for value obviously on that river. Go for a 3-bet with the ace queen. I assume we got called by a jack, an ace. So yeah, and we did 3-bet the king 10 into position. It's a good hand. We like it. We like position. Makes sense. We 3-bet the ace queen. This is the same guy that we 3-bet earlier with 9-8, and he played back at us, so we get to win one off him. Still lots of pinks in the pool, still lots of short stacks, but today I've definitely noticed a better standard And it might have something to do with like regs having a very set strategy and they didn't want to play antes at 10, so they're playing 16. It's the lowest stake you can play without antes right now. But definitely some like quite solid player going around. Also some obviously terrible play, but more good play than I expected. Opening up Jack 8 and King Jack. Got a ping in the big blind that looks like pretty solid, so I'm not really understanding why I've got that. So depending on how this hand plays out, we might consider retracting that pink just for now. Calling obviously, and then folding to a bet here. Let's just see what his flop sizing is. Okay. I'm going to go for the call against a shorter stack here rather than a 3-bet. Defend our Jack 3. Check back our King Jack with pretty much no equity. And bet our King 10. Pretty much the bottom of our value range here. Probably want to check King 9 suited if we have it. Fold this turn. And then when we do bet here, we can maybe start checking back some turns. Yeah, and this is why you don't bet like medium strength hands, because when you get check raised, it's really tough to continue. Whereas when you bet like semi bluff hands, you can continue more often, so you don't have to like always be bet folding. So I would say that was on the bottom end of our betting range on the flop. In fact, I might prefer to check it back, but I can't think it would be that bad to do. This guy raises 3.5 under the gun. I'm going to make it 10 with ace king. He calls very quickly. He's probably going to be quite bad quite often. Defending off 3-4. Check raising. And checking back with the ace king and giving up. Unfortunately. Have absolutely no equity whatsoever. Going to have way better hands. Here we are going to go for bet, I think. And certainly on this river, we will go for all of it. Hope to not lose to a flush, but we were going for all of it, no matter the river, so we have to go for it when we make our hand, right? Some strong queens and kings and aces are going to be in pretty bad spots. We don't mind getting folds. Don't know if we would have got a fold on a non-club, but that's fine. Checking jacks on an unfortunate board. This defend is meh. This turn is above par. Call or raise? I think we'll raise. He calls quite quickly. Might be too thin. Yeah. I was thinking it was too thin. But when they're short stacking and turn I like raising. River, I think sometimes at some frequency he's going to jam river when he makes his flush. Maybe a smaller bet, but then can I refold to a jam anyway? I think it's going to be fine. It's thin, but he's going to have a king often. I just think it's just one of those things. Eights we hope will win, and it does. Ace 8 will not win. It may win, but it probably won't, especially against two checkbacks. Yeah. So, I'm not sure about this one. I think it's fine against this opponent. but we do lose to better sevens and flushes. I think this is fine. I'll have a look later, but I don't want to spend too much time on it in the middle of trying to play. Calling this turn. Checking back with 9 on the river. I just think that against that particular opponent, that was what the line I was thinking about on the turn. So, I mean, he shouldn't have that many flush draws on a paired board that call a raise. In fact, well, obviously we know he shouldn't have many, or if any, but he is going to have some kings that he just snap calls with because he's not very good. I think it's thin. I don't think I can check back though, so I just think it's quite an ugly spot. I honestly I wouldn't put it out of the realms of possibility that he would snap call with like a king. So even when he called that quickly, I was thinking, who knows? This guy opened a hijack and we 3-bet with king queen, which is optional. Gonna 3-bet with the 10s, and we're actually going to go for another check on this turn to disguise our hand for the river and maybe potentially induce. But now we are going to go for value. We 3-bet and this guy called, and now we have a pretty clear bet. He's definitely going to have some hands that can continue here, so let's hope that he has one of those. Apparently he does. And if we were out of position, I would just be piling it in, but in position I'm going to call and let him bluff off with hearts. He's probably going to call with them anyway, but we're just not folding on any run out, so it really makes no difference. This is a very, very, very bad turn. And now we need the board to pair. We might not need the board to pair. He might have a set, but he just has nothing. Okay. Well, okay. Okay. That's a classic queen. So, and this is why we call in position, right? I mean, he probably almost always was call off anyway, but we just need him to. We just need him to be there or thereabouts with his like the worst parts of his range that are just going to be like, oh god, I guess I'm jamming this turn. And he's going to look like he has a lot of fold equity. And this card is going to be obviously very bad for our range, and he should know that, so be bluffing more often. Obviously, we're never folding, so that's why I don't mind calling, because we're never ever not piling it in, so it makes no difference. Here with the king queen, we bet because we have the back doors and because we have probably a range advantage. We do have a range advantage, and because we have to find more bets than normal on this board because of how good it is for our range and how hard it is for him to continue. So we choose some stuff with some optimistic backdoors and give them up on the turn, unless we like make a gut shot or something. And this guy called in the big blind. He can certainly have a 10, doesn't have to. He leaves the 10, although I don't think I want to raise here. We call. River's a 9 of hearts. We block quite a lot of value. We are going to call and lose. There you go. We did block a straight and a flush. But I don't think we're ever going to win, unfortunately. I mean, maybe we will, but yeah, he's going to have... His line looks pretty strong. Floating with 2 overs. 3-betting our 10s. Bets again and we fold. And with Jack Queen suited, we shall be seeing a flop. Three bigs. Okay, we're going to call that. That's an above average turn card. We're going to bet. This guy can certainly have some good queens. And should he continue, I think we need to proceed with caution. Just because he's going to have a lot of like queens that want to check the flop, right? So one big. A well-earned pink. So we're doing okay. We have lost a few pots that on this top right table that have sucked a little bit, but probably like a buy-in worth. So we're still doing fine. I think we're playing quite well. We've had some quite tough spots and some quite tough opponents actually. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. We're going to just call here. Don't mind raising, but I think I'd rather do that with hands that have better value right now, because this guy's not going to fold much given the type of player he is. I think we can probably raise against this, a one big blind bet. Maybe if he bet more, we could have just called. I might stop at 750 hands, so it's more like closer to an hour. Like it's much more digestible size video. So we'll do that. We'll play 750. Get 3-bet with the 8-6, and we're going to go for a call. Good turn. He's going to check back some like maybe weaker kings, maybe some hearts. So we're going to bet this turn. We certainly don't want to check and see like a king. Oh no, sorry, not a king. We don't want to see like another heart that isn't a 6, and have not put any money in the pot. Obviously, a king is probably going to be fine. He does fold, which is fine. We opened king jack and we're check folding to a pot bet with no backdoors, no nothing going on. Open up the ace king. Still can't open my damn chest, man. Pissing me off. Ace 5 off, ace 4 off suits sometimes. Today, yes. Start very small with ace king on this ridiculously dry board. Get pumped on with the ace 4 off. Bad RNG for us. Sizing up on this turn. A little bit. He can have a 3 because he's in the big blind. But it's not going to stop us value betting. Maybe in like 4 or 5, but there's just no way we can not bet. Like ace 5, stuff like that. But way too nitty to check back. Getting check raised would definitely suck. But oops, did I just fold ace 3 suited? I'm the worst. I am the worst. Three betting king queen suited. Please. Please, PokerStars. I just want to see what's in the chest, man. Against this guy, we can't be bothered. We haven't seen him do anything ever, so we're just going to fold. I mean, we have hands on him. He's just never done anything. So for this time against the 4-bet, we're going to fold instead of taking a flop. Checking king 9. This guy seems pretty solid too. Pretty bad turn. Pretty good river. Can we value bet? Probably against an 8 that he's checked back twice. Pocket 3s, yeah. So a little bit of value there to be had. All in. No. No, no. Open up the 10 9 hearts. Open up the king jack off. Fold the king jack off. And sometimes call. He checks. Pretty good board for him. Surprised about the check. I think we're going to take our check here. Realize some equity. He can certainly have ace 10, so I mean, we're going the distance. He could have kings and queens that he wanted to balance flop with, so we need to bet, I think, on the bigger side to protect our hand. So we will. He calls. River's a jack. That is, I think, a very bad river. Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to get check raised all in here sometimes. But we are going for value. And on the smaller side, because a king is going to just like hate life against the bigger size. Aces. Aces. I prefer checking with kings and queens rather than aces on this flop. I get what you're trying to do, but I think you just have to continue with. You're going to want to continue on this board so often. I think just continuing with aces is just going to be. I think you should probably continue. I mean, I don't mind it. It's cool, but I think check kings and queens is fine, just because of how much value you block. But you unblock all of my king x, queen x that you're going to get a good value from, and then you're going to let cards like the jack of clubs come off, and it just seems really ugly. I don't know. Not the biggest fan. Seems a pretty clear bet to me, but maybe I am wrong. We played 750. We're going to go for the setup. On that note, after we 3-bet our 10s, and probably lose 2 binds with this. Ooh, here we go. Way. A good session overall, regardless of what happens here, unless we lose a whole bind with queens. Wow. Wow. Oh. Oh, man. We're going to fold the 10s. I think that's a pretty easy fold. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Oh. I think we're going to fold, guys. Under the gun versus under the gun plus. I look pretty strong. I hate myself. What it is. Okay, let me just finish this hand up and I'll explain myself. So I just checked back there with showdown value. So what it is oh, what the fuck is going on? Now this, I think this jam is ace king, kings and aces, right? But not always ace king. I wouldn't have thought. And a lot of the time this has happened to me, and they've had, you know, the goods. So, and I've called off in this spot before. I think that obviously I've the guy under the gun has got. Oops, gonna get rid of that. Obviously, the guy under the gun has not very many chips. So even though we are 3-betting an under the gun raiser, he's going to be bad really often. So this guy doesn't really care. He goes all in for. I think this is really close. I think the 10's hand was a fold. The thing is, if he has ace king, kings and aces, which I think are the only hands he probably turns up with here, I'm putting myself in a flip at best, and I only have 9 big blinds in the pot. I think my edge is in general situations is going to be better than my overall equity when I call him the spot. So like when he has aces and kings, I'm going to be obviously absolutely crushed. When he has ace king, I'm going to be flipping. There is some extra value in the pot from this guy on my right, which probably in hindsight makes this a call. But do I really want to flip at best with someone that against a pool that I know I'm probably better than generally, when I've only got 9 bigs in? Obviously, if I'm 4-bet, then, you know, this is just going to go in. But I'm flipping at best is my point. And I don't like flipping at best when I've only got 9 bigs in there, when I can just take other spots where I think I probably have a bigger edge in. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. Then again, this is probably a call. But I do think that it's somewhat close. Like, kings is an easy call. But when we have queens, he doesn't have queens anywhere near as often. And like I said, he's going to have one of those 3 combos of hands, and we don't do that well generally. We're not getting great odds to call against those hands. Like, I wonder if I can just quickly plug this into Poker Tracker. Very quickly. Queens. Here we go. He jams, and I need 43% to call. Now against ace king, I obviously have that, but against a range of ace king, I'd have to plug it in, and I'm not going to do it now. Against a range of ace king, kings, and aces, if we even included all combos of ace kings offsuit, I think if we include all combos of ace king offsuit, we're probably still not going to be getting what we need. I think it's close. I think this is really, really close. Like, probably one of the closest decisions you're going to get. Some people may just think this is a snap, and they might be right. But if anyone has any opinions on this hand, I'd love to know, because I have called off in this spot before and just in aces every time. Kings, obviously, we don't block at all. And then, yeah, ace king, which we flip against. Overall, are we getting 43%? Don't know. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I want to wrap this up. A bit of a sour note to end on. I'm a bit pissed off about this hand, actually. If he just played it normally, we could have called in position and probably won quite a bit of money. But nevertheless, that's how it is. I think we played well overall, and I will make another. I'll make another video soon. Thanks for watching.